Hey everyone, welcome to the RotoGrinders Morning Grind Podcast. I'm your host, Stevietpfl. It's Friday. It's August 11th. It is 2023. We have a massive 13-game slate here for Friday. Joined today, as always, by my good buddy, Will Priester, ChiefJustice06. Chief, what's happening, my friend?
Nothing much, brother. A big slate for a Friday, 13 games, interesting slate. And I'm glad to come on with you yet again and just talk through it. And hopefully, man, help the people put a few dollars in their pockets.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting slate. We'll call it that. There's a lot of different ways to build from what I was looking at here before the show. So, 13 game slates on Friday. Hey, listen, I will say you get like the good end sometimes of like Sunday night recordings where you'll get like these 6 or 7 game slates. So loaded you up here on this Friday, and chat wants to know, is it a Stewart jersey that you're wearing there?
No, this is DJ Moore, so I'm gonna have to get this one replaced. I did not expect DJ to get traded. I'm saying generally speaking. So I'm probably gonna get. Let me see what my next one. I'm probably just gonna get a Bryce Young is my next one. Trying to think about who else. I think I'm just gonna get a Bryce Young jersey. I think that's what I'm gonna do. He's probably the staple at this point.
You know what you should have did is just bought a Steve Smith jersey, and you never would have needed another Carolina jersey.
No, I'm saying in addition, I've got multiple.
I know. I'm just, you can always rock the Steve Smith jersey.
Always. You can actually always rock a Cam jersey too, believe it or not. Cam's still beloved mostly by the Carolina fans. He's kind of always been a Panther, even though he's like mostly out of the league.
Do you want to know one of my favorite Dolphins jerseys? And I know we have a huge slate, and we'll get to it in just a second. One of my favorite all-time Dolphins jersey is Zach Thomas.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, Zach Thomas. Jason Taylor, like Jason Taylor a lot, but Zach
Taylor
Thomas.
wore 99?
Yeah.
Thomas?
The reason that I wore 99 in high school was because of Taylor. So.
Yeah.
But Zach Thomas was a beast, man. That guy was fun to watch play football. Ray Finkel. All right. I wonder how many people in chat know that movie. We're getting old. All right. Enough messing around. 13 games. A lot to talk about. What's up, YouTube chat? You guys are already going at it over there. A lot of conversations already happening. So thanks for hanging out with us live here on the show. If you haven't already, subscribe to the RotoGrinders Morning Grind YouTube page. Getting close to 700. Goal is 1,000 by the end of the year. And definitely going to be making a push for that here with football and everything coming up. So, hey, hit the subscribe button. Appreciate you. Oakland at Washington is where we start. 9 total. Slightly pick 'em game. Oakland a slight favorite. We have Blackburn and Adam facing against each other. Any interest here in Blackburn?
No.
Yeah, it's kind of where I'm at too. I mean, I don't think it's the pitcher here. As more of it is just Washington doesn't strike out. I think the upside is pretty limited.
Yep. That's all it is.
Yeah, more than anything else. So any interest here in Adam at 6,600 going up against Oakland?
I'm close. If we see, I think the last game he was around 80-ish pitches, 86. Okay, 86. If we're going to get 86-ish pitches against Oakland at 6,600 with a guy that has some reasonable strikeout ability, I'm in.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the concern for him is always, he's not a huge prospect. He grades out as a very mediocre strikeout pitcher. I mean, I would even put him, looking at his AAA numbers, like below average strikeout pitcher, and he walks a lot of people. So he pitched really well in that Cincinnati game, 7 strikeouts. So, I mean, he's cheap. He's facing Oakland. Oakland has been a little bit better here recently. I think he's okay. I'm not like super excited to play him or anything, but I think he's okay. Oakland Bats. Any interest here in the Oakland Bats?
I will continue to play Blade at 2,800. I mean, I don't see any reason to be fading him right now. Has a little bit of a platoon advantage, batting closer to the top of the order. So he's kind of been a one-off guy for me in that cheap range where if you want to cram some guys in, I definitely think he opens it up for you.
Yeah, I could see a little like mini stack here with like Bode, Seth Brown, this kind of little mini stack towards the top. The walks are potentially there, one big hit, some stolen bases. There's all kinds of upside here. I feel like when you're looking at the top half of this lineup, so I don't mind a little Oakland mini stack that's cheap. We have guys to pay up for pitching. We have guys to pay up for hitting. So yeah. Taylor did marry Thomas's sister. Yes. Washington bats. Any interest in Washington here against Blackburn?
No, I'm not. I'm not thrilled about it. Like it's kind of like they're both going to cancel each other out. Like I don't feel like Washington's about to run the score up, and I don't think Blackburn is about to have an upside strikeout matchup. So I'm not really on the Washington offense. I'm mostly never on the Washington offense because of their lack of scoring overall.
Yeah, I mean Blackburn he's an okay pitcher that, if this was a better matchup, I could see, taking some shots on him. I don't honestly like in large field tournaments. I don't like necessarily hate taking a shot on him. Yeah. He has some strikeout ability. It's just a low strikeout team. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'm not excited. He's only allowed.
If he was facing Minnesota today, he'd be a top player on the slate.
Yeah,
seriously.
He's only allowed 2 home runs in his last 5 starts, so it's not a spot I really want to go out of my way to play Washington bats. Minnesota at Philadelphia, Sanchez and Keuchel. Yes, that is Dallas Keuchel music. Oh, baby. No total in this game. Any interest in said Dallas Keuchel?
Negative.
Well, like, what do you think? Like, he just gets a random phone call. Hey, you want to pitch?
I mean,
you want to come throw some innings for us? Like,
that's what's happening.
Yeah, I mean, I know he threw like 5 or 6 starts in AAA, but it's just wild to me. I mean, his strikeout stuff is just gone.
Yeah.
Any interest here in Sanchez for Philadelphia?
Look, man, at this point, I'm taking pitchers against Minnesota every day. If it works out, great. If it doesn't, no biggie. They're not as bad against lefties to righties, I don't think, generally speaking, but I have some interest, Stevie. It's the Minnesota Twins. There's potential for upside here.
What's crazy to me is, you would think they're better against lefties, but I mean, honestly, they're not much better. They still strike out a 25% clip. They have an 87 WRC plus, which is the 4th lowest in baseball against left-handed pitching. So
I think it's 27 against righties, isn't it? Is that what it is?
27%. I think that's
somewhere
what it was.
Right. Yeah,
it was at that. But yeah, I mean, overall, just a team that you would expect to be better. Their WRC plus is way higher. It's like 20 or 30 points higher against righties. So, I think this is a spot we could definitely take some shots on Sanchez. He has some strikeout ability in a matchup against a really high strikeout team. So, I could see taking some shots here.
Oh yeah.
Any interest in the Minnesota bats?
Not really. I mean, I know Polanco's come back. He's not as high of a strikeout guy as the rest of this team, but where's the upside when guys aren't getting on base and other guys aren't hitting? I'm going to fade.
Yeah, I don't have a ton of interest in Minnesota either. Yeah, I mean, who do you play? Buxton being on the IL just takes away, obviously, their best bat. And it's really, I mean, you could take some shots on Correa. Shortstop's usually a position that's overall weaker than anything else. So maybe a Correa, but not excited about it. Philadelphia side of this game, Harper banged up a little bit. He was dealing with back spasms, left Thursday's game. Keuchel is a guy I want to target. We talked about Philadelphia on the podcast yesterday. They had a big inning there. Turner, Realmuto, Castellanos, all these guys, really. Any of the righties that crack the lineup. Castro, again. I think Philadelphia is really in a good spot here.
Yeah, for sure. I just this whole team, man, and for me, Steven, with Keuchel, I'm even going to just keep bringing in the lefties. Like, give me Schwarber, give me these other guys. Like, I'm perfectly okay with it because I think in the last game, if I'm not mistaken, because whenever it's Dallas Keuchel Day, especially I think he faced Arizona. I was trying to look at it, Stevie. I think he gave up 8 hits in that game in like 74 pitches. 8. I get very excited about him taking the mound. I'd love to see him give up 8 to 10 hits in this game. That should yield some runs for the Philadelphia Phillies. Love this team as a stacking opportunity.
Yeah, I hope Castro gets a start today. We'll see. Does Rojas and Wilson crack the lineup? Who is he talking about? Wilson. Who am I not thinking about Wilson here? Do you know who he's talking about? Wilson?
No, I'm thinking right now. I can't think of anybody.
Weston Wilson? I didn't even realize he got called up. Maybe.
Well, we talked about him last week.
If Weston Wilson's in the lineup, sure. 2,800. Good call. I didn't even realize he got called up. I totally missed that. He looks like he got called up Tuesday or Wednesday. So
yeah,
if Harper doesn't play, there's a good chance Wilson cracks the lineup.
Guess what he did too? He hit a home run. He's been hitting home runs in AAA all year.
Yeah, there you go. My bad. I didn't see that. I talked about Rojas on the podcast yesterday, but I didn't realize that Wilson got called up. So there you go.
Folks, Weston Wilson, how about that? Came right up and hit a homer, Stevie. Just incredible.
I'm still waiting. There's a couple guys that I'm waiting on to get called up. There's a real big power hitter with Milwaukee that hasn't been called up yet. And there's a guy in the Red Sox organization I'm excited for. We'll see.
The guy from Milwaukee, who did he play for in college? Was it Northwestern or something?
Well,
never mind.
Don't make my brain hurt, man.
Never mind. No. We're good.
No, now you're making me think of. I can't think of his name to save my life right now. I knew you or chat was going to ask me, and I was like, man, what's his name? It's
I feel like I remember from college, and that's what I'm trying to think through.
It's like I know his first name is Jackson. I just can't think of his last name.
Yes,
Churro. Big power guy. I would assume that they would have already called him up, but not called up yet. Will be cool. So anyway, Cincinnati at Pittsburgh. 9 total. Reds a slight favorite. Abbott and Oviedo facing off against each other. Any interest here in Andrew Abbott?
Man, Abbott's all over the place. Pittsburgh's been my kryptonite this season, Steve. Especially against the Braves, they just gave us so many problems. God, so frustrating that series. And I think my homerism is taking over. I feel like I should be playing Abbott because the strikeout stuff is there. I'm going to set my personal feelings aside and say at 9,800 he's expensive, but he's got 30-point upside. In large field tournaments, I think he's in play.
Yeah, I think he's expensive.
He is. That's the issue.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of potential strikeouts here in this lineup. They made up a lot of call-ups. A lot of the call-ups they made were like left-handed. So there's a lot of potential here. It's just, for me, I worry overall about like the price and ceiling at 9,800. So I would necessarily wouldn't talk you off of it. It would be ownership / want to see what the lineup looks like kind of play for me. But yeah, I mean, Abbott, he's shown some ability. His advanced number is definitely screaming a little bit of regression. The walks are concerned. But facing a lot of young guys potentially would definitely help with that. Any interest in Oviedo on the other side?
No.
Yeah, I don't have any interest in him. I think this is going to be a tough matchup for him. Cincinnati bats. If this game was in Cincy, the Reds would be one of my favorite stacks on the slate. It's just really hard for me to get excited about playing the Reds in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I will
price.
say, yeah, that's what I was going to say. I think in deep, large field tournaments, I think some mini stacks or some one-offs are like in play. Like, obviously, you can always play Ellie. Like, I know he's 6K. How many people are actually going to play Ellie today? Like, he hasn't had one of those big explosive games in probably, a couple. I'd say a huge game in a couple weeks, Stevie. It's still probably a spot with Oviedo where a guy that can't give up hits. I still think one-offs on Ellie. In fact, like guys like him, I think it's a good spot on such a large field slate because Cincinnati's going to go under the radar anyway. So I'm in one-off mode for a lot of their bigger name bats.
Yeah, I definitely don't mind it. You could make a case for stacking them, but it's just I don't think I get to the stack here. More of I'm worried. For sure. Like the price is the biggest thing for me here. I'm just concerned about the overall price on Cincinnati in this ballpark. Like I said, if Cincinnati was at home in this game, I'd be all up on it. Any interest in Pittsburgh here?
Not really. We'll get to some good offenses. And Pittsburgh's been fine recently. I will say, Stevie, they are cheap enough. Like, no one on this team is really expensive anymore. Like, even Brian Reynolds has come down to $4,300. So, like, they're cheap enough to where if you want to take a Reynolds one-off, I get it. Or a Brian Hayes one-off, I get that. Or a mini stack or something. But I'm not full stacking this team.
Yeah, I think Hayes or Joe as like one-off cheap, one-off bats that like if you want to take a home run shot on, like they've been good against left-handed pitching this season. They have power against left-handed pitching. McCutchen, like I don't mind maybe a one-off here from chasing. Like McCutchen's cheap. He's 3,500. McCutchen's hit left-handed pitching throughout his career. So just trying to find some cheap value with Pittsburgh is how I would approach the Pirates today. Cubs and Blue Jays. 9 total in this one. The Blue Jays are 160 favorite. Assad and Barrios facing off against each other. Any interest here in Javier Assad?
Man, Stevie, I don't like taking teams against the Blue Jays. I look at Assad. I don't think he has really enough upside for me to consider him at 6K. I'd absolutely be playing my guy from Washington, Adon, over Assad. So Assad's going to get the X button for me.
Yeah, I don't expect him to pitch too deep into this game, and I'm opposite. I think you can definitely take some pitchers against Toronto right now. They look awful at the plate, but I don't know if this is the guy you would do it with. The pitch count is definitely concerning overall. So I don't do it today. I don't do it. Barrios, other side, 9,200. There's some strikeouts facing the Cubs, right-handed pitching wise, but honestly, the lineup that they've been rolling out here recently against right-handed pitching has been really good. Low strikeouts. Tachman's a low strikeout guy. Horner's a low strikeout guy. Bellinger's strikeouts way down this year. Candelario's under 20%. Like it's a really solid lineup. Do you have any interest here in Barrios?
At 9,200, I think I'm going to take the fade, Stevie. And here's why. I think Barrios is going to be okay in this game, and I mean that like factually. I think he's going to be okay. I don't think he goes past 20 fantasy points. I don't think he's under 15. So at 9,200, I think I can take the fade on Barrios today and get in some other guys with more upside.
I don't mind Barrios. I just don't think he has an upside to win you a tournament on a 13-game slate in this matchup.
Yep. That's where I am.
And like the Cubs, there's been plenty of times this year we were like, all right, we got to stack against the Cubs, But the last month, this team has been really good. Really good.
For me, I don't mind stacking the Cubs here, Stevie.
Yeah, I kind of do too. I kind of like it.
So, like you talked about Talkman, it's 3,700, but Ian Happ's 3,800. You pair those two together, you can get Bellinger at 53. It's not going to be a stretch. Like Candelario's 44. He's got multi-positional flexibility, so you can get him. You've got Morel in the infield and the outfield. They've got old man Yan Gomes at catcher at 3K. Like, it's just, and Dansby's not crazy expensive. Like, he's 4,700. There's just enough pieces with these cheap guys to make it work, I do think stacking the Cubs today, and I stack against Berrios anyway. Let me just put that out there. So stacking the Cubs today, I think, is a good proposition.
I think they're a really interesting low-owned stack on a slate with 13 games that you're not giving up a ton of upside. There's a lot of ceiling in this lineup. So, I think it's a really interesting spot when you're looking at it overall. Toronto, I could see stacking Toronto. They just been, if I'm playing Toronto, it's a stack or fade for me. I'm not getting excited about playing Toronto outside of a stack.
Yeah, I like Toronto today. This is mainly just a pitching matchup. Stevie, once again, I'll say this. We don't ever know when the light switch is going to flip. So we just got to keep playing Vlad in these type spots. We got to keep playing Whit Merrifield in these type spots. Chapman, DeYoung, they've got DeYoung there now. Springer. We just have to play them like they're not facing an elite pitcher today. So we just have to get them in the lineup. Plain and simple.
All right, Atlanta. Hey, your Braves facing the New York Mets. 9.5.
The one team in our division that feels like they've given up hope.
9.5
teams.
9.5 total in this one. Braves a 185 favorite. Morton and McGill. Charlie Morton's 9,600. You kind of talked about how deflated this team looks like right now. Any interest here in Morton at 96?
I'm not playing him today, Stevie. And this is the homer in me coming out. I've watched too much Charlie Morton recently, and Charlie looks awful. I gotta say,
struggles are there.
He looks awful right now, and this is probably the get right spot. I don't care. I hope the offense shows up today because we're sure going to need it. I'm not playing Charlie at 9,600.
Yeah, the struggle is real for Charlie Morton right now. I almost if you're the Braves, do you consider sitting him down for a couple weeks? You're very, very safe for where you're at playoff wise right now. Is it arm fatigue? I don't know. Looking through the data, it's tough to say. Something's not right with Charlie Morton right now. Just overall. So maybe, like you said, maybe this is the get right spot, and I don't know if I would necessarily want to miss the get right spot, but we look at his numbers over the last month. His strikeout rate's under 18%. His walk rate is way up. His WOBA is way up. Giving up a ton of hard contact. So I'm with you. I don't think this is a spot I'd play Morton. I wouldn't be shocked if he goes out and throws a really good game.
I would not either.
Yeah.
You know what I think I would do though? And I know it's managing personality a lot of times, Steven. He's an older guy. I'd almost go mid-relief on Charlie right now. I trust Charlie in mid-relief to go out and throw 35, 40 pitches, get a break, come back. You know what I'm saying? That's – but
I just don't understand the harm in shutting him down for 2 weeks now.
I would absolutely do it.
I'm just sitting over here on the sidelines.
The Dodgers
analyzing
do it to Kershaw
data
every year. They do it to Kershaw every year. He has a back spasm out of nowhere. He sits for 10 days, and then he comes back rejuvenated.
Yeah. What do you mean? I don't know what you're talking about. He was really hurt, and we should be worried about. No. Yeah, we're not playing McGill against the Braves, right?
Oh, no.
Let's talk about this Atlanta team in general. McGill, below average strikeout pitcher, a lot of walks. Another guy that gives up a ton of hard contact. This is a very stackable Atlanta spot outside of the fact that it's Citi Field and they're expensive.
Yeah, man, this is where Don's going to come in, I think, to help us. Where, Stevie, pretty much this whole lineup is 4K and above now. Isn't that crazy? The whole lineup, top to bottom.
Do you blame them?
No, I can't. So for me, you can stack the Braves every day, and you just got to be strategic about it because half the guys are almost 6K now. So Acuna's 6,700, Olsen is 6,400, and I think Riley's 59. Yeah, Riley's 59. Albies is 56. Murphy's 54. Then that leaves you. Ozuna, I think, in the mid 4Ks, Harris in the 4K range, and Rosario is right there at 3,900. You got to make some tough choices because you can't catch them all like Pokemon. And I definitely think you're going to need some bottom of the order guys. And I think you mix and match two of the big bats and plug in the rest. But either way, I'm stacking the Braves here against McGill.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, if you can make it work, I think they're top stack today. I think the Mets are kind of sneaky because of Morton's like recent struggles. If he continues to struggle, I could see like a little Alonso Lindor, throw a third piece in there type of stack work. I know they've been struggling, but man, Morton's been really struggling too.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you can get Nemo at 4,500, who should be he should be leading off today. McNeil's 3,800. Like you said, this team they're fairly cheap. And then we got the other Acuna brother on the other side of this game, who went to the Mets for Max Scherzer. Perhaps that gets Ronald Acuna ready to roll. But either way, I think this is a good spot for the Mets with Charlie struggles. Throw Alvarez in there too. Not necessarily a cheap catcher, Stevie, but 4,200. A guy that's got a little bit of pop. I don't mind him today as well.
Detroit at Boston, facing my Sox. 9.5 total. Red Sox a 160 favorite. Scoble and Sale facing off against each other. Man, the Red Sox are kind of cold. Good outing from Paxton. I wouldn't say it was great, but it was a good outing. Any interest here in Tariq Scoble?
No.
Yeah, I am on the fence, man. The Red Sox have been struggling here recently. My thing with Scoble is he was 88 pitches last time out. A slight increase. Give me 90, 95 pitches here. I mean, he has strikeout ability. He has reverse strikeout splits.
I think is capped though. I feel like he's getting close to being capped. Like,
yeah, but he threw really well those first 5 innings and like got in a little bit of trouble in that Tampa game. Like, had he got through that inning, he would have been at like 95 pitches. So he doesn't get in trouble in that inning. He has, he finishes that inning. He throws 6 innings. I mean, what more could you ask for at 7,500? So I think at the price, and we know the strikeout ability for Scoble is high. And the Red Sox are just one of those teams where, like I said, they're kind of cold right now. They strike out more against left-handed pitching than they do right-handed pitching. I think Scoble is super interesting here for tournaments.
Oh, man, I get it. This to me just has Boston putting a cream pie right in my face, though. The minute you think they're down,
right when you play Scoble and don't take the Red Sox bats, they score 15 runs in the first inning.
Tee off like that's how I feel right now. I'm just, gosh, man. I Steve, I'm going to paint this for you very, very quickly. He comes up to the plate. Verdugo hits a single. Devers hits a double. Drives him in, and then Duvall comes up and just knocks it out of the park. He's giving up 4 runs just like that, or 3 or 4. Anyway,
let's talk Chris Sale.
Yeah,
on the other side of this game, there was a report that I read before we got on here. He only threw 54 pitches in his rehab start in AAA. It sounds like his max is 4 innings.
That is the max. Yep.
That's they correct. Didn't really say anything like pitch count wise, but I mean, when you get a max of 4 innings, that really limits your upside, even in a matchup against Detroit.
Can the sites just mess this up and give us like 6.5 strikeouts for Sale so we can take some unders? But
I don't know if I'd take the under.
Clearly, they have this information, but yeah. I can't play Sale today. Like knowing that information, he's not going to get the quality start. He's not going to get the win. You're basically banking on him getting a clean 4 innings and like massive strikeout ability. I don't. He's 8K pretty much. That's not worth it.
So to have some fun with it, just like thought process wise. So fantasy pick'em sites bring Sale out at 3.5.
Oh, over easy, hammer.
Yeah, I mean it's a strikeout per inning and 4 innings.
I'm in at 4.5. Believe it or not.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see what they do with Chris Sale today. So we'll see. Any Detroit bats that you like here?
No. Like this team's been they've been bad and really bad recently. Like I know, Kenta Maeda didn't like dial up the strikeouts like we thought he would today, especially with Ober just mowing them down for 12 or 13 or whatever it was last night. But I still trust Sale to get through 4 innings pretty efficiently.
What I think is crazy too, like we know he's capped at 4 innings, and you're getting bullpen. The Red Sox bullpen, they have plenty of righties and lefties. Like it's one of those spots that is super interesting in that aspect too. I mean, you really got to take a guy that has power to against both sides, and they don't really have that guy. Maybe Torkelson. Yeah. I think Torkelson would be the guy, but I'm not excited about playing Detroit today. And honestly, I'm not even that excited about playing Boston. Like, overall, they'll hit probably Ren Snyder leadoff, but as soon as a righty comes in, they'll pinch hit him. So I can't get excited about playing the Red Sox today.
Yeah, I get it. I'm with you, Stevie. And this is, man, I hate to say it's a gut call, so to speak, but it's just this weird feeling, man, that Boston possibly goes off today. I think I just stacked Boston because of their upside, but that's it.
Man, I don't know if people are watching this SRX Thursday Night Thunder race, but man, it's wild. There have been some crazy hits on the dirt race today. Sorry. That is the NASCAR racing fan in me. Moving on. St. Louis at Kansas City. No total in this game. It sounds like Zerpa's going to pitch from what I was reading, but it's definitely a bullpen type of situation if Zerpa's going to throw. He's not stretched out by any means. He threw like 2 days ago through an inning. So I don't expect, if it is Zerpa, it's more likely going to be a Kansas City bullpen type of game. Wainwright pitching. I mean, even at 5,500, I don't think I can play Adam Wainwright today.
Yeah, Stevie, no, we're not playing Adam Wainwright at all.
It's so tempting to play anybody against Kansas City, but man, how do you? I can't do it.
Yep.
I'm not touching the situation for Kansas City. I'll say that unless we get like some definitive news that someone's going to throw that is worth playing, I can't do it.
Yep. -0 Kansas City.
Let's talk St. Louis bats. We don't expect Zerpa to go long if it is going to be him opening. It'd be really interesting to see if they announce a long reliever, if it's a bullpen, like full bullpen game. This is the second worst bullpen in baseball. What are your thoughts here when it comes to St. Louis?
I think we stack this team. It's open season. So Stevie, this whole game is open season. Like this might be my favorite game on the slate, believe it or not. As crazy as that sounds, as many good teams as we have coming up that I would like to discuss. This is my favorite spot on the night, Stevie. Like, seriously.
I think Kansas City is in a great spot.
Oh, man. Yes. Great spot.
Kansas City is in a great spot. Like, when you think about it, just overall, I think they're in a great spot. When you, like, okay, I love St. Louis. Don't get me wrong. Love St. Louis. Definitely like St. Louis. But Kansas City, they're cheap. They are really cheap. Like we've gotten to talk a little bit about some pitchers that we like and some bats, but I mean we have some spots coming up that definitely, like Burns next game we're going to talk about. Yeah. Burns getting the White Sox. Like
pitching is coming.
I'm gonna try to pay 11-2 for Burns today. Spoiler alert. So overall, I think both of these stacks. I agree with you. I think both these stacks very, very much in play today. I really like the Kansas City side. I really like the St. Louis side, but I really like the Kansas City side of this game today.
Stevie, I just want to paint a brief picture. I'm going to make this quick. Folks, Adam Wainwright hits 9, 7, 4, 7, 6, 11, 7, 8, 8, 9, 8, 5, 7, 8. This is his season. Stevie, he's giving up 8 hits a game pretty much. Like in general, 7 to 8 hits. 2 walks, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. Walks and hits, that's what we need. Run, 7, 4, 2, 7, 6, 7, 3, 3, 3. This is incredible. Love Kansas City today. Stack them up, Stevie. They're very cheap. This is probably their best spot of the year by far. Best spot of the year for Kansas City.
Moving on. Milwaukee at Chicago, taking on the White Sox. 8.5 total here. Brewers a 175 favorite. Burns and Kopech facing off against each other. I kind of just said it, Will. I know Burns has been struggling a little bit here, but man, you have to think this is a spot that has so much upside. The White Sox, they're dealing with some injuries now. Luis Robert, he sprained his pinky. He might go on the IL. Like, this could just be one of those spots where Burns throws one of those 10-plus strikeout games, has a good game, finally gets back on track. I really honestly would love to open lineup HQ tomorrow and see the bat have like an extreme pitcher's umpire in this game, because Burns's walks have been so tilting. But man, there's not many better spots, and he's definitely pitched way better on the road this season.
Yeah, well, the other thing I like about Burns too, Steve, is, and really, if you think about these last couple starts, he faced Cincinnati back in late July. Obviously, we're playing a lot better at that time. Washington and Pittsburgh, and both of those teams have been very pesky. Washington's been limiting strikeout upside for most teams, most starts. So, despite that, he caught Philadelphia, and Philly's been striking out a ton. He had 10 strikeouts in that game. And then he had Cincinnati earlier, right off the All-Star break, or close to the All-Star break, I think. He had 13 strikeouts in that game. So, there's still some strikeout upside there. I'm with you. 11-2 Burns is worth the cost of admission.
Kopech, other side of this game. Any interest in him here?
I don't think so right now, Steve. I don't know if there's no strikeout upside. And Milwaukee has been striking out, but at 8,600, I think there are better people for me to get involved with.
Yeah, I think there's better options today. I will say, like, when the dude puts it like on and he like has everything clicking, he's so good and talented. Yeah. But just really, his walk rate has been atrociously bad. Has given up a ton of power. His ISO is at like 230 on the season. So there's days that like he puts it all together, but like even recently his strikeouts have been down. So I don't think I can play Kopech today. I actually kind of like the Brewers a little bit today. I don't think people really realize that like Sal Frelick is like a big prospect, and like he's a guy that has a lot of upside. I think this is a Milwaukee team that like you're not excited to stack them when you look at like what your team is, but it could just work out because the matchup is good.
Yeah, absolutely. If Kopech, comes with his bad jump, then we are going to see, I think, some runs from Milwaukee. You got Adames who's at 4,500. He's still going to be in play. Yelich at 56, and Yelich has gotten better as the season is going on, Stevie. So earlier this season, he was playing terribly, and I think as the season is going along, we've kind of seen more of the Yelich that we've grown to know and love. Getting hits, getting on base, driving in runs, and I think that's what we mostly want to see. Also on this team, Stevie, they've got these host of guys, Terang and Monasterio, just cheap guys playing. And if Carlos Santana, if he happens to not play, he was just out with an illness. If he happens to not play, that's going to open it up for another one of these cheap bats to come in. So I like this team for sure against Kopech.
Any interest in the White Sox here against Burns?
No. Negative.
Yeah, I'm with you. No real interest here. LA at Houston. Detmers against Verlander in this one. 8.5 total. The Astros a 200 favorite. Any interest here in Detmers?
So, despite the fact that Detmers is crushing righties, and I know we just saw Houston kind of have some trouble today with Dean Kramer, I don't think I can do it, Stevie. Like Houston, this team is pretty much back on track. I think Detmer's upside is limited today, despite the fact that he's much better against righties. I think this team's going to punish him the second time around. So I'm saying the second time through the order. He had trouble on the 15th, and that means he's going to have trouble today. But I think this team is better today than they were on July 15th. I'm going to pass on Detmers.
Yeah. I don't think this is necessarily the spot I want to do it. If they had enticed us at like 7,500,
okay, yeah,
7K, like here we're going to give you Detmers at like this huge discount and really make you like think about it, I would have thought about it. I mean, there's been times that I've played him this year, and I mean,
7K would have been worth it for me on this slate.
A lot of the power in this lineup is definitely left-handed. Alvarez, Tucker, the two best power hitters in this lineup, lefty, definitely neutralizes that a little bit. So, yeah, I mean, overall, I don't think I'll play Detmers today, but I definitely have some slight interest in Verlander at 9,400. I worry, like, he just hasn't had like that Verlander ceiling, but we know he's capable of pitching good games. Any interest here in Verlander?
I don't think I'm going to do it today, Steve. I think Verlander is pitching okay because he knows how to pitch. Like that's to me, that's what's going with Verlander, right? Like he's always been a better strikeout guy than Wainwright, and so because he knows how to pitch, like he's been okay. But once the strikeout stuff falls completely off, like I think he's Adam Wainwright. If that makes any sense, I don't think I can do it at 9,400 even against the Angels.
Yeah. I mean, Angels bats. I mean, I could see playing Ohtani in any matchup, but I don't think I'm going to pay 6,600 for him against Verlander.
Nope, not doing it.
Houston, again, like when you're looking at the Houston lineup, a lot of the power is left-handed. I think that, like, obviously, if you want to take shots on like Altuve, if Jake Myers is in the lineup, I don't mind if you want to stack this and go lefty. I think you could go like Alvarez, Tucker. Like, I'm not really playing Detmers. It's just like when we're looking at the Houston pricing, it's like so hard for me to like say, hey, I'm going to pay $6K for Alvarez, lefty for 2 or 3 at bats. Like, that's just where I struggle a little bit when looking at Houston overall. But I mean, if you want to stack them, I definitely wouldn't talk you off of it.
Yeah, I don't hate many stacks on Houston today. Like you can still get Bregman on Tuve, and then if Abreu continues to sit again, if he sits, he didn't play against Baltimore, just had some back tightness, at least according to the reporting. You're probably going to end up with another one of these cheap bats in there. So I don't mind some of these cheaper guys, but look, Altuve and Bregman definitely would be at the top of my list, Steven. And just as another sidebar here, over the past 30 days, the K rates on this team have come down dramatically, and that's top to bottom. And even Jose Abreu, his K rates come down. I think he was around 30% at the beginning of the season. It's come down to the mid-20s, but he's been, I think, even lower than that recently, which is really helping this team kind of take off. So I like the righties here on this team quite a bit.
San Diego at Arizona, 9 total in this game. Padres a 170 favorite. We got Snell and Nelson facing off against each other. Blake Snell's 10-6. Tough matchup against Arizona. I don't like playing pitchers against Arizona, but I love the ceiling that Blake Snell has. I also hate his floor. I don't think he has a floor, but I really do think you could play Blake Snell today in tournaments.
Oh boy, yeah, Stevie, and we're gonna get to a guy, but I can't do it. Like Arizona, Washington, Cleveland. I'm just not taking pitches against those teams, and it's worked out most of the time. I love Snell. If he was facing any other team, I think I'd take him. But facing Arizona, I can't do it.
Listen, I get it. I'm chasing the ceiling.
Yeah.
His floor is like -5 here. He's actually, I mean, he's been a lot better this year. His floor is probably like 10 or so, but I think his ceiling, like, it just continues to be like 30 plus in any matchup right now. So I don't mind taking him in a tough matchup. Nelson on the other side of this game, tough matchup against San Diego. He's really been struggling lately. No interest for me in Nelson in this spot.
Negative.
San Diego bats.
Yes, love San Diego bats here, Stevie. This is another one of these teams that I really like. Soto at 5,700. Sign me up. This is definitely one of the most patient hitters in baseball, especially the righties. He just really makes them pay. You got Xander Bogaerts at 4,800. I think this is a equally good spot for him. Another guy that's going to be a patient hitter. They've had Ha-Seong Kim leading off, Stevie. Came over from the KBO. Good Mr. Ha-Seong Kim. I think he played for either Kia Tigers or the Kaiwoom Heroes. I think he played for one of those teams. He's taking off Stevie. He's now 5K. Ha-Seong Kim's been hitting the ball pretty well, so that has paid off for them. Cronenworth at 4,200. I like this team top to bottom. Go Padres against Mr. Nelson.
Yeah, I mean, Gary Sanchez has 15 home runs on the season. He's a guy that
came in late.
Yeah, power behind the plate. I mean, Gary the GOAT, man. That stretch he went on to when he got called up, I don't think we'll ever forget that one. So
Ooh, yeah.
Arizona hitters, I'm not touching Arizona today. Even on teams I'm not playing Snell, I just don't see a lot of leverage in this Arizona lineup against Snell.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's another one of those neutralized spots. Kind of like I didn't want to play the Washington bats, but I also didn't want to play the pitcher from Oakland. Similar situation, except Snell is much better.
Sorry, yawning. Baltimore at Seattle. 7.5 total in this game. The Mariners are 150 favorite. We got Gibson and Castillo facing off against each other.
Oh, yes.
Any interest in Kyle Gibson at 7,700?
I do have interest in Kyle Gibson today. 7,700 facing a Seattle team that has been striking out a ton. And look, I'm not expecting Gibson to have the same game as he had against the Mets with 9 strikeouts. What I am looking for is the steady Kyle Gibson that we know and love. Stevie, call up Kyle Gibson. Tell him just give me 20 to 21 fantasy points, and we're good. Just don't have a meltdown against some of these power bats. I think Gibson does have to have the strikeout upside today. I think he can pick up at least 5 with upside to 6. At 7,700, definitely an upside play for me against a high strikeout offense.
Love this spot. I think this is a great strikeout spot. Seattle has power. Anyone that tells you they don't, they're just not hearing them. I think this is a spot where you like the power upside here for Kyle Gibson. I think, or not the power, the strikeout upside. And you just worry a little bit about the power in this lineup for Seattle. So definitely interested in Kyle Gibson at 7,700 against Seattle, and interested in Luis Castillo at 10K. I think this is going to be a low-scoring game. Struggled last time out. Just had a rough outing against the Angels. Put it behind him and go at it here. What's your thoughts on Castillo?
Yeah, I like Castillo. 10K. We've seen Baltimore give up some strikeouts, even against a guy like Hunter Brown, who had kind of been scuffling along, Stevie. We were still able to see him put up some numbers. So I like him a ton. Definitely think this is a spot where he can go out and pick up some Ks.
Baltimore bats. Anything here for Baltimore that you like?
I mean, I don't hate a one-off. And look, Castillo isn't someone that I like to pick on. Like, you could probably play Gunnar Henderson, you could play Adley Rutschman, but like I'm not actively targeting any of these guys.
I'm not. I don't think I'm touching Baltimore or Seattle today. I don't really have interest in either side of this game.
Yeah.
So many spots that we like already. And honestly, looking at this spot overall, there's not there's 3 or 4 teams I think you can compare price-wise to. And I would rather play some of those other teams.
Yeah.
Colorado at LA taking on the Dodgers. We got Gomber and Lance Lynn. Yeah, baby.
Oh, Jeff asked what happened to Chu, who played for Texas. I think he's playing for the SSG Landers in the KBO. At least last I checked.
There you go. Gomber and Lynn, this game has a 9 total. The Dodgers are a 320 favorite. Any interest here in Gomber?
No.
Yep. Lance Lynn, 8,900 in his new Dodger blue, baby. Listen, there's not a pitcher that I'm not going to be interested in against the Rockies all year, the rest of the year. This lineup is bad. They have mailed it in. They're the worst team in baseball against right-handed pitching over the last month. And if we look at WRC Plus on the season, they're dead last. So team has just mailed it in. I think Lance Lynn goes out and throws us 6 or 7 really good innings here and has a good, really solid outing at 8,900.
Yes, sir. This is, to me, Stevie, this is the pitcher on the slate here. I mean, we've been targeting Colorado. To me, Colorado has been the worst team on the backstretch of the season so far after the All-Star break because of injuries and trades. And you get Lance Lynn at 8,900, Stevie, coming in to see if he can mow this team down. I mean, he's at home, but I'm saying pitching today, spot of all spots. Lance Lynn's my favorite pitcher on this slate, hands down.
I thought it was crazy. I read a report earlier that Blackman might like rehab. I'm like, why? Like, why,
Yeah.
man? What are you doing? Call it a year, buddy. Call it a year.
Yeah.
Your team is atrocious.
Yeah.
I have no interest in the Rockies bats today. I think this is a great spot for Lance Lynn.
Yep, absolutely.
He's a guy, going into, take or pick 'em thought process, your fantasy, pick 'em show. I think Lance Lynn's an excellent pitcher's outplay today, depending on what it comes into. I think he cruises in this one.
Yeah, man. Pitching outs for sure. It's Colorado. My guess is he comes in at 6.5, pushes to 7. He's coming in at 6.5 or 7, I think. And I probably still take the more than that projection as well. He can get 8 or 9 in this matchup if he's rolling.
Yeah, I don't mind the strikeout, projection type idea. The pitching out seems like where I would end up on Lance Lynn today.
I'm going to guess, Stevie. Let's see how good I am at this. I'm going to guess he comes in at 19 to 20.5 today. I don't think they're giving us 18.5.
I think it comes in at 18.5. And I want more. All right.
Yeah.
Dodgers bets. Dodgers, JD Martinez a little banged up right now. They did say like Saturday or Sunday for Martinez, so I don't expect him to be on the lineup today, which could potentially free up a cheaper Dodgers bat, maybe like a Kiki Hernandez at 3K, cracks a good part of the lineup. I think the Dodgers are overall super interesting here. Again, like when I'm paying up for a stack, I want ceiling. Problem is, man, like they're expensive. Betts is 65, Freeman 62. The good thing, Will, is I don't think many people will play Freeman at 6,200 lefty.
Yeah, I don't think they will. I think that's a mistake. Yeah, definitely get him in there. The other thing too is I don't think Jason Hayward's going to start. I think they're gonna platoon him today. Rosario's probably going to start again, or move over to a different position. But this spot for this team, Steve, is still incredible. Will Smith at 5,500. I mean, tons of power. So I like this team all the way around.
Chris Taylor, another guy at 3,400. I like. All right, finish it out. We got there. 13 games. We're there. Appreciate everyone hanging out with us. Texas at San Francisco. Opener situation for San Francisco with Stripling, Alexander, Gray pitching for Texas. No line out for this game yet. Oh, it's out now. 8 total. Rangers a 116 favorite, so pretty much a pick 'em game. Any interest here in John Gray at 8,100?
I want to have interest, Stevie. Like I really, really, really want to have interest in John Gray. I think he's just okay. I don't like him more than Kyle Gibson. Definitely don't like him more than Lance Lynn. I think Gray is going to sit on the shelf for me today.
Yeah, so again, you go back to that conversation of like he's 7K here. They entice us with his price. Maybe I take a shot because like $1,000 doesn't sound like a lot when you're building or thinking about building teams, but like that potentially gives you 2 extra bats.
Yeah,
like 2 good extra bats. I don't think I played great today. His pitch count kind of all over the place. I expect him to get a maybe 85 to 90 pitch increase here, but I don't think it's enough for me to be super excited about playing him. I'm not touching the opener situation for San Francisco. They're like, hey, we platoon our hitters all the time. Now we need to go out and do it with our pitchers.
right.
Do you have any interest in Stripling? I assume he's going to be the guy that throws a bulk. He threw 74 pitches against Oakland the other day. Any interest in Stripling at 5,600?
Negative. Not against Texas.
Let's talk Texas bats. I mean, opener situation. We know Alexander's going to come out and start this game, and then we're going to get Stripling. Any interest in Texas bats here?
Yeah, weird ballpark, but this is still one of the best teams in baseball, man. Especially when Corey Seager is back. He's 6,300. Don't care. Love him. Marcus Semien 6,100. Don't care. Love him. Adolis Garcia 5,900. Don't care. Love him. And then they're playing Jankowski and Tavares and Lowe and Garver's back playing because Himes hurt and Duran. Like they got guys, man. So I like this team. I don't think a lot of people are going to target Texas in San Francisco, but this team, it's a big ballpark. They can still poke through tons of doubles, even if they're not hitting the home run ball. I love Texas today.
Yeah, again, like another team that has ceiling. Like this is a 13-game slate. We gotta attack some ceiling. So the Giants, maybe Jock Peterson at 4K, but I'm not excited to play the Giants today.
Yeah, same here. Like I'm not interested in Gray just because I don't know where he's going to end up on the pitch count spectrum, but he still should be able to neutralize the Giants enough. I just don't know if the true upside is there today.
All right, so let's play the morning grind game, and then we'll get out of here under 8K to get 6 or more strikeouts today. I have a feeling I know who you're going to take. Who do you got?
I'm actually going to go sneaky today. Give me a Don from Washington.
Did not see that coming. I will take Sanchez. Thank you. Appreciate you. Over 8K to score under 15. And just for reference, I had Scoble as the guy that I had written down, assuming that Will would take Sanchez. So I like both of those guys. Yeah. Over 8K to score under 15. Who's your bust today?
Give me Charlie Morton. I'm going to stick with bad Morton. He's been bad right now. Give me Morton at 9,600.
I'm going to go Berrios. We talked about the Cubbies earlier. Yeah. This is a lineup where I just don't want to pick on this lineup right now. We got a lot of Cardinals fans in chat, but man, the Cubs lineup has been fantastic. Over 4K to hit a home run. Who's going yard today?
So many options, Stevie, but I got to go with my guy here, man. Give me Bobby Witt Jr. against Wainwright, 5,800.
Love it. I'm going to go a little bit down and say Sal Frelick for Milwaukee for a home run today. Under 4K to get 2 hits. Cheap bat that you like to get a couple hits today.
Well, I think this is an easy one as well. This is a spot that, we also talked about. Give me Topman from Chicago against Berrios, 3,700.
Yeah, don't mind that one at all. I'm going to go Michael Massey for 3K against the Cardinals today. Adam Wainwright might be 2 singles, but I like him to get 2 hits today. And then give me a stack to score 6 or more runs.
Give me Texas out in San Francisco. Nobody wants to play him. One of the highest upside teams on the slate.
Give me the Royals. Adam Wainwright, baby. Adam Wainwright is still in our lives. I also really like Philadelphia. We talked about a lot of teams on the podcast. I really like Philadelphia. I know Keuchels is like ground ball guy, but a ground ball guy that pitches to contact, man. Let's do it. But yeah, I have a ton of interest today in the Royals. So, Will, any final thoughts before we get out of here?
Thanks a bunch for joining, folks. Catch you all tomorrow at 10:30. Take your pick 'em. We've been having a blast. And some people from this show joined, like Jeff and a few others. So thanks, guys, for hanging out with me. And hopefully we make a few dollars.
Yeah, go hang out with Will. Help him out. Let's go. Go give him like the video. All that YouTube stuff. Go help the man out. Grow the show. We're going to get out of here. Hope everyone has a fantastic weekend. We'll be back Monday talking baseball. Have a great day. We'll see you then.